talk about the hottest bags that I think are going to be smash hits. The leather looks good actually, because you know, Chanel was kind of using trash leather the last few years. This leather actually looks quite nice. So hopefully he's investing more in the leather. Let's hope, you guys. Let's bloody hope. Hey guys, welcome to my channel. I'm Jess. So this morning I watched the latest Chanel runway show. I was so excited for it, you guys. I've been waiting for this for like months. Matthieu Blazy is the new creative director of Chanel after Virginie Viard left after a few years. She was actually, I think she was like a designer that you either found a bit boring or you really loved her designs. I actually did like some of her collections. I think she had some really successful bag designs as well, like the 25, the 22, the 19, you know, she had some top hits. And yeah, there were some things that I enjoyed with her, but I think it's a really hard act to follow when Karl Lagerfeld was the designer since the 80s and he, you know, did so many iconic collections for Chanel. I think becoming the creative director of Chanel would be extremely stressful and there would be a lot of pressure put on you. So I can only imagine, I can't even imagine being in Matthieu Blazy's position, being the next creative director of Chanel. And I know that there'll be so much expectation on him with this fashion show. So I think, to be honest, his first fashion show, I really liked it. And there was a lot of things about it which I found really funny and like interesting. So for example, the first look featured a busted Chanel bag. It was a completely like wrecked 2.55, which I found really funny because, you know, I know we've been saying Chanel quality is kind of like gone down the drain. It's not what it used to be, all this. And just the audacity to put like a completely trashed bag on the runway. I thought perhaps you could interpret it a few ways, but the way I see it is that a lot of Chanel bags are mainly inspired by this 2.55 bag, which is Coco Chanel's original flat bag from the 50s. And I think this is her most successful bag design of all time, right? The 2.55 bag. And so many designers are inspired by this bag. The quilting, the chains, the double flap. It's just one of those bags that is forever being referenced by Chanel. And I think if you look at a lot of Chanel's bag variety in their boutiques as well, they all have chain straps, they all have the quilting. It's just such a part of the DNA of the brand. And I think it's something that Chanel has been holding on to for so long. And then to kind of bring it on the runway in this completely destroyed way that almost looks like the model had been wearing it for years, or she's holding on to like what's left, I think, of like almost like what Coco Chanel represents almost. I think, you know, in this day and age, what is left of Chanel is kind of changed and evolved and warped over time, and almost like how a bag ages. I don't know. I think it was kind of symbolic of how things are going to change in the future. Like we're always going to be holding on to that Chanel, that, you know, Coco Chanel, but it's always going to be a warped and aged. It's it's going to be completely different in the future. And I think to open the show with that kind of idea was an interesting, that's how I read into it anyway. I think it's an interesting way to open the show. Matthieu Blazy, as a creative director, he's going to have to change a lot of things and bring his own flair to the brand and be innovative and kind of think of new ideas and new iconic things to change fashion, as Coco Chanel did. But, you know, there'll always be that DNA of Chanel, the classic 2.55 bag, which they did open the show with. It was presented in a few different variations. There was the black combination, a metallic kind of space age color as well. I think it was fitting because the setting of the show was like space theme, which I thought was pretty cool. And then I think there was another color as well, but I don't know whether they're actually going to sell these destroyed Chanel bags in the boutique or whether it was just like an artistic statement or something like that. I can't imagine them selling this bag, to be honest, but you never know. I'd love to know how much they would charge for it, but I mean, in a way, as a piece as well, I think the way that it had kind of morphed, it did remind me a little bit of kind of the what was happening at Loewe too, because I know at Loewe they were kind of playing around with scrunching up tops and making them look really kind of misshapen and strange. It kind of gave me that same feel as well, so perhaps he was also just being experimental with the bag, you know. So anyways, that bag was interesting. I'm going to mainly emphasize on the bags here because I know you guys love bags, and there's a lot to kind of dissect in every look. I'm not going to talk about every single look in the fashion show, but overall I really liked the big pom-pom earrings, the big accessories. Some of the costume jewelry was pretty cool. I loved the color palette, obviously, like the brands and everything, something I would really like to wear. And some of those like kind of more soft shouldered coats and the knits. I think there was some really interesting sets. I even liked the knit set. It was like a red knit set with this kind of like floral, kind of like 60s looking edging as well. I thought was a cute idea. Or even some of there were two dresses with these kind of like flowers stuck onto them, and the way that they moved when the models walked was very captivating as well. Yeah, some of those like floral motifs I actually thought was quite cute. Anyways, so let's mainly emphasize on the bags. Now, what I also noticed is that there was a lot of Croc embossed bags. Now, I know that Chanel has discontinued exotics, so I'm going to assume that they're Croc embossed because I know in 2019 they had their Matthieu Egyptian collection and they did feature some like gold Croc embossed bags. But there was what I noticed, some sort of like red flat bag with a Croc texture I saw on Vogue Runway. I can't really find a lot of close-up pictures of bags yet, apart from I found on Purse Pop a lot of like great pictures of bags. But I noticed a little red flat bag. There was also this little green top handle bag, which I think a lot of people are thinking is inspired by the Cerf Tote, which was a very popular bag a few, I don't know when they came out, like the early 2000s or so, which they discontinued. And this is in this like really random minty green color, which actually looks stunning contrasting with the burgundy interior. I don't think that this is a real Croc. I could be wrong. They could be bringing back exotics, but this could indeed be a Croc embossed bag, which is very different for Chanel because, you know, usually, as I said, Chanel is known for the chains and the quilting. This is a completely different direction. And although it's kind of also, I guess, bringing back that Cerf Tote that they did, it's not very common for Chanel to do bags that don't feature a chain and quilting. So this is a little bit different, and I like how Matthieu Blazy is kind of experimenting a little bit more with the bag silhouettes, because I think in the past it was kind of getting a bit repetitive, to be honest, the same kind of flat bags being churned out. Similarly, there was some like bigger, more heavy grained leather bags on the runway as well. This one, which features, I think it could be, it doesn't look like a CC logo. It actually looks like a camellia, which I also like that he's playing around with different kind of, not just the CC logo, because I was kind of getting sick of them just sticking the CC logo and everything. He's kind of playing around with different motifs. And I think the camellia, or even like putting a lion head on something, is a nice kind of subtle way to show that it's Chanel without being so blatant with the CC logo. So I think this is a cool design as well. A bit more appropriate for work and a great alternative to like the Deauville tote, which they keep like churning out. I think it's good that Chanel are kind of finally releasing bigger bags that are a little bit more usable for every day. But yeah, it's just going in a bit of a different direction. It's very different for Chanel, I will say. And I find it exciting. So this one has like a little flat pocket, and then I can't really tell what else is going on with the bag, but it's a huge oversized black bag. Then there was also some bigger totes with these leather strap handles. Again, no chains to be seen, but this one here with the leather strap, it really reminds me of the supermodel tote from the 90s with the chain straps. But he's taken away the quilting and he's taken away the chains, which one would say is completely destroying the, you know, what you think of Chanel. But, you know, he's kind of changing it up, and he's not just using the same quilting and chains as they always do. So I think that's a really cool, it's still Chanel, like he's kind of trying to redefine Chanel in a way, but still, I guess, in the styling and some of the other features in the outfits, kind of link it together. But yeah, I thought that was kind of cool too. Okay, what else is there? So, talked about the busted Chanel. Now, there's another bigger kind of, this is a little less original. It's a bit more of a, like, east-west zip bag in the suede, features the quilting as well. We've seen this kind of like suede oversized thing happen in a lot of runway shows, like kind of reminds me of the Hermes Victoria. It could even be like something from the Row or something, but yeah, this is a bit more minimal, but still features the Chanel quilting, but it's just stitched. and it has a little bag chain hanging off. Notice, guys, how there's like completely no Chanel 25, no Chanel 22. It's all different. Like, all these bags are different, you guys. Now, I quite liked this little tote as well. It was a little quilted tote with the CC logos, and this is really vintagey inspired. Yeah, with the little logos. It's quite cute. So I like how he's still got that kind of vintage element, and particularly with some of the like little evening bags. Like there was this like little kiss lock bag. Again, no quilting, in this beautiful Bordeaux color, which looks like the interior of the Chanel bags, just with a little CC logo. I thought that was quite pretty as well. Very classic looking. And even this Croc embossed black like east-west bag with a really interesting like black little CC logo just sticking on the top there. That was quite cool as well. And you can see it's like an adjustable strap. This is very different for Chanel. Like, this actually, if you took away the CC logo, there's no way I would have thought this was Chanel, which one could say is a bit of a bad thing too. Like, I think there was a lot of looks in this runway show as well that you wouldn't have guessed is Chanel, honestly, just by the whole vibe. But in a way, I do think that Chanel needs to reinvent itself. So I guess, you know, and this is only Matthieu Blazy's first collection. So I don't think you can expect perfection from his first collection. I think as a first collection, it was actually really good. In my opinion, I found it very inspiring. I like some of the styling, and I thought it was quite also very wearable for women. A lot of the outfits were they looked very comfortable to wear, which I think is what, in essence, Coco Chanel herself wanted to design outfits that were comfortable for women to wear. And, you know, she was very much famous for her like jersey, utilizing jersey for outfits, and you can see that as well with these weird like jersey elements to the skirts and whatever. Like, you can see even with some of the knitwear, it looks very easy to throw on and wear, which I like. Now, not everything is easy to wear in these collections. There was a lot of lavish like feather skirts and crazy headpieces and stuff too, but the essence of it, I think, looked very comfortable and like effortless in a way. Now, there's also these like chevron funky striped bags, which I thought were cool. I don't know if this is kind of, again, like kind of like a 60s vibe. It just looks very retro to me. And I also noticed there was these like little mini flat bags, but they were double-sided. So one side was like, yeah, got one flap on the other side. I actually used to own a double-sided Chanel bag from the 90s. So again, he's referencing a few eras here, which is really cool. Also, guys, I got to talk about the hottest bags that I think are going to be smash hits. Okay. Firstly, Kendall Jenner was photographed with this little shoulder bag with this thick strap. Again, no chains, no quilting, but it has that big ass CC. Sorry, I don't know why I'm saying rude words, but it has this big CC logo smacked on the front. Little baguette bag. It's going to be a hot hit, you guys, just because of that CC logo. Beautiful. Like, the leather looks good, actually, because, you know, Chanel was kind of using trash leather the last few years. This leather actually looks quite nice. So hopefully he's investing more in the leather. Let's hope, you guys. Let's bloody hope. And it seems like it's going to be in the black and this gorgeous red color, which I love how they're playing around with this red, because not only is this red very trendy at the moment, it is like the iconic red of the Chanel interior of the bag. So, like, of course you got to use that color. So yes, there's that. And then the other hot bag is going to be the one that Jenny from Blackpink was wearing. This little, again, no chains to be seen, little shoulder bag. It does remind me of like the Coach Swing zip tote. It's very trendy. Just this little like strappy shoulder bag, east-west silhouette. It's very predictable, but nonetheless, I think it will be a hot hit, and it is quite cute. And it's taking us into the next era of Chanel. Now, there was a lot of other iconic things to talk about in this collection. This little like Minaudière that was shaped like a globe. I don't know, guys, but all in all, I found it quite kind of like fun. A bit of a sense of humor to it. I enjoyed the space setting, a lot of fun textures as well. And I was inspired by some of those like pom-pom accessories. I thought they were quite cute. I love that big oversized brooch. And yeah, guys, anyway, there's a lot more to explain in this collection, I suppose, but what did you think of it? Would you wear a trashed Chanel bag? Like, maybe we should just start trashing our bags, guys, and wearing it like we've had them for years, because that's totally the vibe right now. So anyways, thanks for listening to my video. Hope you enjoyed it, and let me know what you think about the latest Chanel collection as well. And I'll talk to you really soon. Bye!